Hello, how are you going? Shirley Peters here. Today I'm going to do a quick Christmas card of an Australian gum tree, and I'll make it vertical and it will fit the size, the DL size envelope, which I mentioned in my last video. And I'll be using Canson watercolor paper, which is it's a rough version. It's one of the ones I tested before on a previous card. I'll mention it up the top here in this little white strip there. Oh, by the way, if you click on that little white strip, it doesn't take you there straight away. It just puts that as the next video to watch. So you can click on that and then you can still keep watching me. I think that's how it works. Oh, it's all so complicated. Anyway, I'll get started. Now, if you'd like my videos, I'd love you to click the like button and subscribe, hit the bell. That way you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Thanks very much. But this is a typical Australian tree. I think it might be a red river gum. I'm not sure, but they have very white flesh, and the bark is very coarse, and it doesn't fall off very easily down the base. It tends to stay there for a couple of years. And this one looks like it's been through a fire. So I thought it might be a little bit fun to try and paint this extraordinary, beautiful stroke ugly tree and see how we go. So I have got some pencils. I shall just sharpen them and get back to you. I think one of the tricks of this particular tree is going to be making it small enough on this card, and I might even go over to the back part of the card. That's the fold and that's the front. So if I just give it that beautiful lean that it's got, and I'm just going to vaguely, I won't put in all the branches, of course. I'll just put in some of the branches and see how I go with having this bark hanging off. So basically I will condense the tree down to sorry, my mind is floating off. I'll condense the tree down to a few good branches, and I'll leave out some of the mysterious ones that don't look like they belong. This tree has got, they're going everywhere, to tell you the truth. They're crossing over themselves, and so I'm just going to make that run over to the back page. I think that'll be fun to do that. And I won't put that one in. I'll leave that one out. So that way I'll just have, yeah. So that's, and then the shadow line going like that. The little fine branches up here I will put in, and see that one there. If you follow this tree, I'll put this tree up on my website so that you can download it, and you'll just see by the way I'm drawing it that I'm not really following it. I'm making up things. I'm making the branches a bit different. But that said, behind this looks like some random sheds. I won't put those in. I'll just I might just put that little fence in. Looks nice, and I'm going to do a bit of a chat about perspective in the next video, but I'll just start by putting in that fence there like that, and then a hint of the mountain behind. So that'll be enough for the sketch. I'll grab my paints and we'll start. Not quite sure which is the best way to do this. I think it's okay up there, isn't it? You can see what I'm doing. Yeah, okay, I'll leave that there. So with a tree like this, and the fact that I'm going to be doing a few of them, the first one becomes a template that is a lesson, so that you can see what else you have to do. So I'm going right over the top with, notice how there's clouds in the sky. I'm slightly, that's better, a more cerulean blue, and there's beautiful cumulus clouds happening behind there. So that's going to be a good enough sky. I'll wet the brush and just put a bit of water in those cloudy sections. What I'm doing here is just taking up the edge, so wetting the edge so it doesn't become a sharp line. Of course, this will dry off and will look like a beautiful cloudy sky. I'll fade it away to the back of the card. That's the back, so it won't be seen straight away. And while that's wet, a little bit of green, oops, down here. Now I'm happy to mix this. This is where an example of having a dirty palette is quite an advantage, because I've just put fresh paint into that pan, so it's pulling out a little bit. It's deep sea green, that one. And yes, that's right. I'm going to do this. There's bushland at the back, and it's quite scrubby. It's quite patchy with different, nothing defined. Very, very loose. I'm putting a little bit of blue in here as well. The blue makes it look like it's further away. That's one of the reasons they're called the Blue Mountains. But I think nearly all landscapes look pale and bluish from a distance. It's not just in Australia. But that said, we call them the Blue Mountains for that reason. There are theories that the blue is caused by the eucalyptus oil and that, but I'm a bit sceptical, because I've been in overseas countries where the distant mountains are as blue can be, and they haven't got eucalyptus in them. Now the bottom ones behind here, I'll just make a little bit brighter green colour. And the yellows, a cadmium-y sort of coloured yellow across the base. And a little bit of orange on the front. Okay. Now, just going to, that's all it's what you would call a underpainting, and I'm just going to let it fade away there. A few little scratchy marks. With this tree itself, I'm going to mix a burnt umber, and you know I will go for my classic two colours, which is the burnt umber and the ultramarine blue. I'm mixing it on top of where the other little palette, or the colour was that I was using before. Double check you can see that. I hope you can. And it's a neutral grey, and I'll just put a little bit of the colour there to make sure I know what I'm doing. I shall put a touch more brown in this than I normally would. And what I'll do is come across the bottom half of each of these branches. Make sure I don't get too much water on my brush there, because I can just see it beginning to drop down the page. So just quickly trace, I'll quickly paint the bottom half of each branch, a little bit of brown, or bottom or left side. Make a choice that the sun's coming that way. Now I'm wetting the brush. Now I'm going to just add water and pull that brown colour across. If you happen to have a bluish colour, like if your combination of blue and brown went blue, that's alright too. So just push down hard on your brush and drag that down, and by pushing hard you end up getting a darker edge there and a paler edge over this side. Just make that a little bit bluer now. And the gumtree bark itself can be very white. I mean, sorry, the flesh is very white, underneath that very dark bark. So I'm going back up there and I'm just touching in some of the dark colour on that left side. Oops, and there's one branch that I haven't wetted up yet. So I'll just get another brush with water on it and just drag that dull brown up into that area. Okay. While I'm at it, I'll just put a couple of little branches right at the top. Look up to see where I can see something for inspiration. But on the whole, I'm just making it up there. They're all over the place there. It's pretty hard to know where they come from. But even though I'm painting over that side, the main part of my painting is on this side. Right. Now I'm going to go really, really dark here and mix up more ultramarine blue into the burnt umber. And I'm going to paint in this bark, which is clinging to the base of the tree. It refuses to go. It's not going to, all the wind in the world is not going to knock it off. And it just sits there year after year. A couple of hanging down bits to make it look really ratty. Like that. Some up here on this tree that are still up on the branch. It would have all been covered with this bark, but it's all peeled off and it'll be laying under the ground, making a mess. But that's it, it's beautiful. Oops. I hope you can see that picture. I'll just hold it there. So I'm blending the bluish, dark blue and the brown colour in. I say blending, I'm trying to get rid of brush marks. I don't really want them, but that's it. We'll see how we go. In the base here, I just put a couple of like zigzags and take that right out there. If you want to really bury the tree, put a couple of more spots underneath it like that. That way it's really sitting down on the ground. You don't want it to look like it's floating. It's got to go right in. Then that's it. I'll another brush. I'm trying not to waste the paint by cleaning off brushes too often, which I've been doing in the past. I'm just going to mix up some purple. I'll put it in this one over here that's got a bit of red in it. So purple and a bit of red, and I'll add a little bit of the blue. I think it's a cobalt blue on that one. And I'm going to just do the shadow of this tree right across as a line. And I'll just sweep it, not very good there. I'll just try and sweep it up like that to make it look like there's grass growing underneath, and that's become caught in the shadow. And there's obviously some branches lying down there, so you can do some messy stuff. You can put some lines in underneath, horizontal lines like that. Now, back to brown, but add a bit more brown back to that blue. And what we're going to do here is just add some knots in the tree. So where the odd little branch has fallen off. And then we're going to put lines coming down, some vertical lines. So basically you look real closely at the photograph and just try and draw in some of the details that you can see. I'm still going to keep the dark on the left side. I'm not going to do anything on that right hand side that will make it look like there's an outline. So just keep it like that. Oh, that's a fun thing to do on these gum trees, is often to draw little wrinkles in the elbows, or in the where one limb comes off from another. Often they have little wrinkles of wood. Okay, so that's that. While that dark's on my brush, I'm just going to do some verticals on that post behind. I'm going to cheat a little bit and turn it into a thicker post, that one. So it's not on the picture. Oh, actually there is one there. Corner posts are often the solid, corner post is the solid piece of wood, and then in between they have star pickets. I guess that's pretty universal. There's like that. Okay, now the last thing of all is the leaves. There's beautiful whites on these branches, which I could add later if necessary, but I'll just see how I go with adding the leaves first and then just seeing if I need to do any more. So at the moment I'm mixing, let's put those brushes down. I'm mixing the deep sea green back into that blue brown mixture I had. So basically it's a greeny grey, and I have to decide which. If you half close your eyes and just see the groups of leaves as kind of areas of green that are solid, basically, in small sections. So I've just drawn some circles like that. I'm going to really take some water off my brush now. I mean, add water to the brush, take the paint off, so that I've only got a thin wash. I'm just going to use that as a guide to where, and then over here I can be a bit more confident and just put a couple of patches of green here and there. So basically that's how gum trees have their leaves. They're just little bunches. Then you get the very, very, very dark colours, and then you can just do a few vertical lines here and there, not all over, just here and there, and that gives you that feel of the leaves sitting vertically, which is the reason they survive the hot sun. One of the reasons, I think. Okay, that's good fun, isn't it? I'm doing a Bob Ross here. Oh, cute little tree and happy little leaves. Okay. Now, it's a bop, it's a bop, 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 bop. I've got all these bunches. What I have to do now is just go dark either side of a branch like that, so that I join those two together behind. Okay, that way it doesn't look like there's even sized little bubbles of. So I join those three with dark. I pressed harder with my brush and got darker tone out of it. I'll do another one over here where I'll go behind there to there, and then I'll come over there. So that way they're just not looking too same. Have to make it different. It's very easy to start drawing a pattern. Your hand wants to keep doing what you did. You worked once, do it again, worked again, do it again, and you end up finding you've got patterns. And you don't want patterns. You want the whole thing to be quite random. That's why sometimes take some leaves right down like that. I'll just do the verticals, and providing you do a few verticals on it, hey, you meant to do it. You know, it's not a mistake. So wherever you put them. Okay. Now, there's a fun little thing to do with the gum trees is to go into the red and to put the very fine pieces of, using the very tip of the brush, little bits of red here and there to be the twigs, I guess you'd call them, the twigs on the end of the branches. And I just draw the twigs. I don't find the branch to draw a twig off. I just put the twig right in the middle of the greenery. Oops, a bit of hair on that one. There's hair. Sometimes the twig can fold over and go down, but tiny bit of red here and there in the. It actually is, when you look closely at a gum tree, you'll find it's the new growth of the wood has got a red colour to it, but it's usually hidden. You'll never see it in a photograph, but go up close to most gum trees, look at the new growth, and you'll see some pinkness in amongst that, what you think should be a brown twig. So that's pretty basically a gum tree painted for a Christmas card, as far as I'm concerned. It is subtle enough. It's got green and it's got red. Now I've got some white gouache here that I've squeezed squeezed too much out the other day. I'm just wetting it up a little bit. And I'm going to go over these branches with the white just to add that beautiful light coloured sunshine. It's not yellow in this particular case, it's very white. Sometimes when you've got a photograph, you can't be sure that the actual photo itself has become tainted. Now, just for the sake of looking very closely at this branch here, say, there's some white in there, but it's not all the way across. So I'm just going to put it down like that. Almost drawing with the tip of the brush a little bit of white just in the centre of that particular one. I'll take it down. I might just draw out like a couple of deep zigzags there just to emphasise that bark. And a couple more through here. It's actually got rays of sunshine coming like that. Whenever you find that type of sun coming through, that's fun to put in. A few more little spots here and there. Another fun thing you can do is go back into your grass with some white, or if you've done a blue sky, use that same blue colour. Back into your grass. I'll do that again. Another thing you can do is to go back into the leaves and add some white like that, and that opens them up, little patches of white, and just by doing little strokes. Once again, stroke, 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 stroke. Okay. Just for the sake of artistic license here, I'm going to, oh no, I'll keep it white. I'm just going to put white on this side of this big, I'll try and make it really thick. There, like that. Can't quite see the edge of that. So what I'll do, if you can't see the edge, I'm going to go in with a tiny little bit of brown right on the very edge there, like that. If you're finding it hard to define the branches, which can be like that's when I say brown, that was burnt sienna. Now I'm wetting my brush and I'm rubbing on the left side of that stroke so that it spreads, and it spreads in a curve like that. I'll do that again on this one. Tiny in that one. Oh, okay. Can't stop myself now. Just blend it out into the centre of the timber. And for Australian trees, we have little dots that grow. I don't know what they're from. A little dot here and there. They're like little insect marks that have something's dug in, or a little piece of bark that didn't quite come off. So tiny little spots. They help to catch the eye. And there's one more thing I might do is on this bark, say a bark like that, I'll just rub out the top half of it to give it a little bit of a fold over look. Folding over. Now this is a much more complicated painting than I did for the last video. But I just thought it worth doing. Actually, that's a big piece of bark. I'll turn that into a large piece of bark hanging down there. And the top of the bark can sometimes be quite stripped, like a rusty colour. So I'll put the burnt sienna at the top. Bring that down. Burnt sienna on that one too. And then I'll put a little bit of the burnt sienna up into the bark because it's just freshly peeled off, and so it leaves the colour behind while it's still fresh. And I think I'll stop there, otherwise I'll keep fiddling. To make it pop a little bit more, try and get a very, very black mixture onto your brush, which could be the ultramarine blue and the burnt umber. I just want to that's faded up a little bit. I want to go really, really, really deep black. Oops. Let's see how I can go on this. So, ultramarine blue, burnt umber, a bit more ultramarine blue. Okay, it's actually darker than the lamp black. And I'm putting dark right down there on that. Sometimes I love to have, or nearly in all my paintings, I like to have white whites and I like to have black blacks. So just to match it up, I'll put a little bit there, a few spots in the bottom, and that will be it. I'll sign it, and I think you should too, your Christmas cards, otherwise people won't realise that they're genuine. They'll think you just bought them. Now, just finding a little brush that I had before to do my signature with. I'll have to stick with one of my watercolour mops. And as I explained in my last video, I do like to do an SP in red with a box around it to make it look like it's a Chinese stamp. Okay, so that's that card, and I'll be going through and doing a few more, but I won't do them for the video. I'll just do them for my friends because they're fun, and I'm on a roll. Share this fun part with you. Oh, I love this bit. Put it over here on top of this print. The nice thing about a card like this is it's just got a little bit of interest on the back. So thanks for watching, and if you like the video, can you subscribe? That would be great, so that you see it next time, see the next one I upload, unless of course you've already subscribed, in which case just click the like button. Thanks very much.